This video is brought to you by Ageless Geeks.
Cowabunga dudes and dudettes, this is Anthony, aka Batbomb82, and today I'll be doing a review of the Gamestop exclusive Batman vs. the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Alfred and Michelangelo figures from DC Collectibles. Now, taking a look at the front, we can see that both figures are showcased in a large window box packaging. And if we turn the box around, we can see all the other figures from this line. So with the box out of the way, let's crack these figures open and see what we have inside. And here is Mikey and Alfred out of the box. And man, I am so stoked to finally get these two figures in hand because it really rounds out the Bat family and the four brothers in a half shell. I am super stoked to get these figures because I've absolutely loved the previous releases and I absolutely love that animated film. But before we take a closer look at the figures, let's take a closer look at their accessories. So this box set does come with a good amount of accessories. Starting off for Alfred, we get a mug, a slice of pizza, and 4 interchangeable hands. And for Michelangelo, we get a skateboard, 3 pairs of interchangeable hands, 2 nunchucks, and a slice of pizza. So with the accessories out of the way, let's take a closer look at Alfred and Michelangelo. Alright guys, so I'm going to start off with Alfred here. He's a fairly simple figure, but honestly I'm always kind of happy to get an Alfred. You know, we don't get a ton of him, so when he does come out, it's really cool. Now I think this one looks great. So we can see that head sculpt. I think it looks pretty awesome. I love how it just looks like it's ripped straight from that cartoon with the eyes kind of droopy, the brow, his mustache. It's a little funky seeing the way they kind of like drew his mouth line on. It looks a little weird, but I get what they were going for, and it works okay. I'm not a super big fan of it, but it still looks pretty decent. We got his hairline in the back like that. I just think it looks so super cool. Again, this looks a lot like it's ripped straight from the cartoon itself, which I totally appreciate. Then he's just wearing a straight up tux, you know, very simple. Again, with the black lines, again, to show like the animated look. I think it looks really awesome. He got his nice coattails hanging in the back. Fairly slim figure, as you can tell. Those shoes are awesome. He is rocking some really pimp shoes. I dig those quite a bit, and all this looks pretty good, man. I think he looks really good for an Alfred figure, and again, I feel like he's really ripped straight from that animated movie. Alright, now let's talk his accessories. So he doesn't come with a whole lot, you know, it's Alfred, he doesn't really need a whole lot. So we do got a bunch of interchangeable hands that I've shown you already. So you got a bunch of different types of hands. You got like this open palm hand for holding things. You got this kind of like gripping hand, which looks pretty decent. He does come with a little mug, which works out pretty good. And you can hold that between the fingers and that works out pretty good like so. So you can get it on there and it holds just fine. And you can do that thing where he like holds it like this, and you'll see some pictures later on where he's kind of like resting it in his palm, if you know what I'm talking about. Kind of he's serving like that, so that works out pretty good. Take that off, and I don't know why. Yeah, the hands. I mean, you get a bunch of types of different hands. You get like this. You get like this trigger finger hand. I don't know why. You know, we get a second one of these hands. You know, you could totally take these off. They're just on little ball pegs like that. You can pop the other one on like so. If I can get that on there, they're kind of tight and tricky on him. And then you could do that whole John Cena thing that John Cena does. You know what I'm talking about? So you could do that if you want to. So yeah, Alpha Dog. I don't know. But I mean, you're mostly just going to get hands with him. Then you do get a slice of pizza that you can slide and hold into these hands like so. You could just tell he's just not really into the pizza all that much. So again, is what it is. Not a whole ton of accessory, but we do get works for Alfred, I think. Okay, so now let's run down his articulation. So his head is on a ball joint a bit, but you're mostly just going to get left and right. Doesn't really go up and down, doesn't really pivot. You're mostly just going to get the left to right turn. Arms and go full 360, up and out that far. Single bend at the elbow, as well as rotation at the elbow. Rotation at the wrist, as well as a hinge at the wrist. We do get a ball peg in like the lower waist section, so it rolls around a tiny bit. You can get left and right just a tiny bit. You don't really crunch and back and forth at all or pivot side to side that much, so not a lot of motion in the waist. Your hip joints are going to kick forward that far, back about that much. Splits very, very far. Rotation in upper thigh. We got double jointed knees. Kick himself in his own butt, so that works out pretty good. Ankle joints go up, down. Good, pretty decent ankle rocker, and rotate left and right. So his articulation, it's okay. I mean, again, it's Alfred. You're not going to do anything too wild with him. I mean, you probably would want to just because it'd be funny, but you don't need a crazy amount of articulation with him. But still, it's pretty decent for what you get. All right, now let's take a closer look at Mikey here. So Michelangelo was actually the first one received in this entire line, but obviously he was dressed as Batman in that one, which was like a fan channel / Comic-Con exclusive and things like that. I think that one was amazing, and I'm super glad we finally got the standard Mikey. So I can just bring this one in right here, and you can pretty much see the similarities. I mean, they're pretty much the exact same figure. Everything about them is exactly the same, with the exception of the head, obviously, and the cape. But you're still going to get the exact same thing, the back of the shell. All of that works out great. So it's really cool having the standard version and then him dressed as Batman, because I love this figure, and I love that whole scene. So this is fun to have. So I think he looks great. Again, we've seen this before, but he looks so awesome with those black lines. Again, I love how they do the initials in the belts, how they work that in with the M right there. It looks really cool. The pads, the big feet, again with those black lines to make it look like the actual drawing or animation. I think it's super, super cool. The shell looks great. I love how the bandana's draped like that, and his smile is fantastic. I think they nailed that head sculpt. Looks so good. Just a very Mikey face, and I love it so, so much. So everything about this guy looks great, man. I love Michelangelo, and I love this figure. All right, now let's talk his accessories. So he does come with a bunch of different interchangeable hands that you've already seen. Gripping hands, you're gonna go straight out hands like this. Closed fisted hands. Again, we've seen all these types of hands before, just on the different turtles. So they're all basically the same thing. We also do get a pizza slice that comes with every character in this line so far, so that's really cool. Gotta have a pizza slice with Michelangelo, so that works out really, really nice. What's really cool, we actually get his nunchucks here, which is really dope, because that one where he's dressed as Batman didn't come with any accessories, which was kind of ridiculous, and I was like, why didn't he just come with his nunchucks at least? So we finally get them here, and they look really good. The paint looks clean, the sculpt looks good, and we have a real, polished metal chain, so I think that's awesome. I love a real metal chain on nunchucks for some reason. It just works out so good, and he can hold them with his gripping hands fairly tightly. I think that works out really good. Or you can take them, and since he has those little pouches on the side here, you can take those like that and then tuck them in right there like so, and he can holster them at the side. Now, same thing with the Mikey as Batman here. He has those pouches too, but again, just did not come with the nunchucks, so we can finally do that if we want to. You can put them on this Mikey as well, and they work out just fine, so that's really, really cool. Again, wish they had done that with the other Mikey, but I get it, not a big deal. But at least we got him with this one. Take this side, put him in here like that, and there you go. And I love the fact that he can holster his nunchucks right there to the side, so that works out really, really good. Now, the other cool accessory is that Michelangelo comes with the skateboard. That's really, really cool. Kind of looks like a tech deck, for all of you guys that grew up in like the late 90s and early 2000s. Tech decks are really cool and popular. So this looks really, really cool. I love the detail on that with the grip tape, the little screw holes and things like that. We have orange wheels at the bottom, and we get little stickers and the little grind pads right here, or grind strips. I forgot what these are called, but that looks really, really awesome. The stopper on the back right there all looks really, really cool. This is a fantastic looking design. The turtle shell, the star, and that skull and crossbones with the skateboard on it, that is actually a symbol from Mondo Gecko from the original toy line. That's amazing. I love how they threw that in there as a little bonus. I think it's really cool, a little Easter egg for you hardcore fans. Now, the couple things I'll say about this, the wheels do not rotate. That's kind of whack, and there's no peg holes to stand him in. He doesn't have, or pegs, excuse me, peg holes, no peg holes on this figure anyways, so it really wouldn't matter. So you kind of have to do this whole balancing act with him to get him on there like that if you want to do that. But you know, for other poses, to, you know, that you might use trick photography and stuff like that, you get him to pose like in the air. You might have to use sticky tack or something like that. But still, this is a really cool accessory, and I love that little nod to Mondo Gecko right there. I think that's super cool, and I just love how they added that. So his accessories are a lot of fun. All right, now let's run down his articulation now. So his head's on a ball joint, rolls around a little bit. You're mostly going to get left and right. There is clearance with these bandana pieces. They just kind of float over the side like that. A little bit of head wobbling, yeah, but a little back and forth, not a whole lot. Mostly going to get left and right. Arms and go full 360, up and out that far. A single bend at the elbow, just under 90. Well, rotation at the elbow, rotation at the wrist, as well as a hinge at the wrist. There actually is an ab crunch in there. You can kind of see the cut inside the waist there. So that rolls around a bit, turns left and right a tiny bit, pivots side to side, crunches back and forth a little. So it's decent. It's there. Probably doesn't work as great as you'd like it to, but there is something there. Hip joints get kicked forward that far. Back, not so much. Splits about that far, so that's actually really good. Rotation in the upper thigh. We got double jointed knees right there, so he kicks himself in his own shell, so that's really cool. Ankle joints go up, down, rotate very far, and a nice, ankle rocker, Overall, I think his articulation is really good. I've said it many times, the turtles in this entire line are the money figures. They are so cool, and I love it. And then we get Alfred here. That's super cool, too. Again, we don't get a ton of Alfred figures, but I'm always excited when we do, so this is a really cool set. If you can find them, they're at GameStop. I highly recommend them, because especially the turtles are definitely a must-get. So for a quick size comparison, here they are standing next to a Marvel Legends Deadpool and NECA Batman figures. Also for comparison, here's Mikey standing next to Mikey as Batman. And for even more comparison, here's Alfred with the rest of the Bat family. And for even more comparison, here's Michelangelo with his 3 brothers. And just for fun, here they are standing next to little Lego Bat Bomb. So there it is, guys, my review of the GameStop exclusive Alfred and Michelangelo 2-pack. Now overall, I think these are really fun figures from a really fun animated movie, and I think both of these are super well done. My only real complaint is that I wish we got a little more accessories with Alfred, but you don't really need a ton more. He's still very well done. The sculpt of both these figures are fantastic, and I love the paint, and I just love how they both look like they're ripped straight from that cartoon. Michelangelo, of course, is definitely the money figure of this 2-pack. He is incredible, and I'm super stoked that we got to round out the entire turtle team. Both of these are super awesome, and I cannot recommend them enough. They are truly badass action figures, and I think you should definitely pick these up. So please comment, like, and subscribe. Stay nerdy, my friends. Peace.